I'm happy to be joined by Washington-based country singer-songwriter CJ Hooper, who has deep Texas roots, from what I understand. So, CJ, how's it going, man?
Going wonderful. How about yourself?
Fantastic. We were just talking before we hit record here today that it's super cold here in southwestern Ontario, Canada, where we're based, but it's pretty nice in the western side of the U.S., right?
Yeah, there's people out walking in shorts and flip-flops. I've seen a lot of motorcycles today, which is kind of weird for I guess, what is it, February 4th?
Yeah, no doubt. And February 6th is a big day for you in your career. Exciting time. Your sophomore album, Over Yonder, is due out that day. So you must be pretty ramped up for release day.
Yeah, pretty excited for it. The first album, I didn't really do anything as far as, releasing promotion or anything. I was just whatever. And this one, get a little more serious with things. So yeah, it's kind of waiting for that to come out.
Do you have any plans on release day, or do you have any rituals, I guess, leading up to the release of a new album?
Yeah, just waiting to see, how people are going to react to it, right? It's kind of out of my control, but I'm just excited for, whoever's out there to, however they come across it, to be like, okay, let's get some, whatever feedback I might get, good, bad, in between, however it goes. So.
I did have the chance to listen to the album, and it really starts upbeat, with the first couple tracks, Burn It Down and Damage Plan. And then song 3 kicks in, Hard Times. And I really feel like that song should be playing during a really dramatic scene in Yellowstone or a show kind of like that. Really some good foot stomping intensity, haunting vocals. So maybe tell me a little bit about that tune, CJ.
Yeah, so when that song it kind of ended up, I was like, whoa, that's like a lot more cinematic than I had initially anticipated, because I write all this just pretty much on an acoustic guitar, just sitting on the couch, right? And the guy where I record everything, when I was playing that for him, he was like, I got an idea for this. He didn't try to sell it to me or anything. He's like, I got an idea. See what you think in a week. And he came up with all that background instrumentation. I was like, okay, yep. Let's put vocals on top of that and, go from there.
Definitely that cinematic feel. A lot of different thoughts came to my mind. And one of those was that it should be on a backdrop of, a show like Yellowstone or something like that.
I was just like, this is just a big scenery somewhere, wide open spaces, whatever it might be. Because it blew me away whenever I heard that. I was like, man, his name's Dylan. I was like, Dylan, great job.
No doubt. Yeah, absolutely. Great job, Dylan. Another standout for me when I would listen is Rain's song. From what I understand, it was recognized by the Texas Country Music Association.
Yeah, they came across that one, which is pretty cool. Yeah, they put it on one of their compilation CDs, so that was really neat. That's
got to be good for kind of an up-and-coming artist like yourself. Get some recognition like that.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, especially this first time anything like that's happened. It's like, oh, this is really cool. Yeah, that one. That's the one song that for sure for me turned out exactly like I planned whenever I was, sitting down actually writing it. I was like, this is how I want it to go, and it actually worked out that way. Not too many changes. I wanted the drums to be super minimal. Just had a kick drum through it, except for I guess what would be kind of it's not really a chorus, but what would be the chorus part right there. Had a little bit extra going on, but fairly minimal tracking, which was kind of the way I like it.
Maybe tell me a bit more about the whole album. What other songs are you proud of? And I guess who you mentioned some names, but who was all involved with helping you create this record?
Yeah, so Dylan Fant, the guy that owner operator out of the One Shot Studio, I found him online, a couple of years ago. He's about 25 minutes just away from where I live, which is pretty awesome. Yeah, he's been a huge help on helping me take my ideas in my kind of ignorant way of trying to explain things and deciphering what I'm saying and turning that into okay, I know what you want to do here. But yeah, and then he has a guitar player buddy. His name's Josh, and he did all the all the lead guitar parts and everything. And that was really cool working with him, seeing what his ideas were and giving my feedback on things like that. And a lot of back and forth on all the different parts and everything, trying to come up with the instrumentation, and seeing how that all fits in.
So you must have been busy writing and recording last year, because your debut album just came out just a year ago. It's not even quite a year old, right? So
first, yeah.
Did you drop that first album and then immediately start working on the second one, or has it been kind of a culmination and going from there?
Pretty much. I finished with the first album. I was like, I had song ideas showing up, and just kind of continued to develop those. I was like, well, I got enough songs here that I'm pretty happy with. Might as well go back in the studio and see what they're going to sound like. So yeah, just one project right into the next one. Thankfully, inspiration was there, and I was super motivated.
Yeah. Talk to me a little bit more about that inspiration, CJ. What were some of those things that were on your mind that got you back in the studio, got you back writing, or kept you writing, I should say?
The song Hard Times, I don't know, that my buddy and I went into Seattle to go see a concert, and we parked in this really depressing side of town, but, just kind of some unfortunate living conditions for people, and like, dilapidated RVs and, tents and all sorts of stuff. And then when we walked to the venue, before we went to the venue, we ate dinner, and it was super high end, everything over there. There were people in suits and whatnot. I was like, this is kind of just a weird comparison between the two. And I'm not sure what was going on in the background of my mind, but I started playing on the guitar a couple days later, and those, wherever all those lyrics came from, I don't always know where things come from, right? It's just like, oh, that's cool. And that song pretty much wrote that in, I don't know, maybe half an hour, I would guess.
No kidding. Hey, wow. So it sounds like it's truly from your heart.
Yeah, other songs, I mean, like, what's the 6 track on there? That was just something I was just playing around with that took, that probably wrote that over, 3 weeks or something, just kind of playing around with different ideas, Some songs show up really quickly, which is a really cool feeling. Like, whoa, I have no idea where this is coming from. Other ones, just kind of sit there and a lot of erasing, a lot of scratching up things, make a lot of edits.
Oh, absolutely. And from what I understand, too, with this new record, you're really driven by a desire to challenge yourself creatively and staying grounded in the simple joy of turning a song idea into its final form. So can you expand on that a little bit for me?
I don't know if you've listened to much of the first album, but a lot of my musical tastes are like early 60s and like 50s country music, old stuff. So that, I look even older than that, I listen to like a lot of Woody Guthrie and things like that nature. I don't know if you'd say the styles, but the sonically that, what I was trying to come up with on the second album was very, it wasn't as intuitive to write some of these songs. Like I had to really challenge myself to not repeat what I was doing and not just be another copy of music I had to, just grown up listening to and been pretty much obsessed with. So just really trying a lot of different things, like, and just trying to be open to different ideas, like the background instrumentation on Hard Times. That would not exactly what I had planned, but then hearing it, I was like, okay, well, that's the direction this is going, and that's perfectly fine with me.
So let's go back a little bit, too. You mentioned music has always been a constant in your life. Starting, I guess you had piano lessons when you were a child, and you picked up a guitar in your early teens. So take me back to when music really started to take a hold of you.
Oh, man. Thankfully, my parents still have good taste in music. We got a lot of overlap to this day. I'm 38, right? So they grew up on a lot of great tunes and always had it on around the house. Like, I remember so many long distance car rides. If you know much about Texas, there's a lot of long drives to places and, just other ways, so there's a station out of Houston that was an oldies station I really liked all that oldies music, whatever that would have been, I guess probably the 50s. Just a lot of country music around. My dad really loved playing cassettes of Leonard Skinner, Dire Straits, ZZ Top. So all of that kind of really cool music from the South that, just constant everywhere. And my parents didn't play any instruments. They just understood that there's probably a value in it for the kids to expand themselves learning instruments. So got enrolled in piano lessons, finally convinced them to let me take guitar lessons because that was way cooler. Like in 5th grade, my dad gave me the Are You Experienced album from Hendrix, which of course I was like, oh, I want to be like this guy. From that, they were always super encouraging with, pursuing music, paid for my guitar lessons back in the day, used to drive me to, I think they might have even, when I was in high school before I had a driver's license, they might have driven me to like a show or two. Super encouraging. Never thought this was something to do full time. They're like, go get, go to school, get a degree, get a real job.
Right.
So that you can provide for yourself. But
get the backup plan so that you can go focus on music, right?
Yeah, exactly. They're like, you can play music forever, just try to do something where you can support yourself. So.
And from what I understand too, CJ, your backup plan, we'll call it, was in the golf course maintenance industry. Is that right? You kind of spent some time in that before you started focusing more on music and moving up to Washington, that sort of thing.
That's correct. Yeah, I graduated from Texas A&M University with a degree in soil and crop sciences and ended up working in the golf course maintenance industry. So I was a greenskeeper, moved up to a superintendent, and had been doing that for a long time. So kind of like if you've seen the movie Caddyshack, like Bill Murray, Sure, but not exactly.
Right. So what was going on for you to make that jump to focus on your music, CJ?
I kind of, just playing guitar and whatnot in the background. It was always just turned into more like just a piece of wall ornament, right? Wall art. I'd pick up the guitar and play the same thing I've been playing for 5 years. And weirdly enough, there was a conversation I was having with someone one day, and I was like, oh, how cool would it be to know someone that's, a professional musician? I bet that'd be just an interesting person to know. And for whatever reason, I was like, if I was going to write music, I'd probably write country music. And then a few days later, after thinking about that, I was like, why the hell did I say that? What? I've never written a song. I don't even know if I can sing.
Right.
For that, I was like, well, let's see if I can start writing some songs. And, that was, 3.5, 4 years ago. And that just kind of got obsessed with it after that.
Oh, that's amazing. So Over Yonder is coming out just in a couple days, February 6th. Can we expect to see some live shows as well to accompany the album, or is that something that you're working towards as well, more of the live performances?
Yes. So I play in a country band up here that's just regular country cover band, more with dance hall tunes and whatnot. So as far as my own project, and I haven't wanted to try to introduce my own music into there just because I don't believe it quite fits, and I'm not trying to, impose what I'm doing upon anyone else. So yeah, I'm working on getting my own stuff out there. I've been hitting a lot of open mics up in the greater, Seattle area. And I have a friend that I should start playing with here pretty soon, and we're going to be, heading out as a little duo, 100-mile radius or so, just to start going from there, and then work on recruiting some other quality players, and just kind of slowly but surely going forward,
Right on, man. Well, awesome to chat with you, and it sounds like we're chatting with you just as you're hitting the ground running right at the start of your career. But you're already going to have a couple albums under your belt, so that's amazing. So we'll definitely stay tuned to cjhoopermusic.com and your social media for all the updates. CJ, wish you all the best, and thanks for chatting with me, and good luck on release day, man.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much.